Well, happy Friday. Let's start off with some things that are going on with the Diddy trial. We still have Mia, the woman calling herself Mia, who was Diddy's ex-assistant. She's been on the stand for quite a few days now, talking about her harrowing experiences that honestly, I don't know why they didn't put this right after Cassie's testimony, because it really is very, very violent. Incidents against her, and also she alleged that there were sexual assaults. And whenever she left Diddy's company, because he was going to shut down Revolt, which was the part of the company that she worked for, Revolt Films, they were working out severance pay for her, and then she got a lawyer involved. They settled on $400,000. And they questioned, like, why didn't you mention the sexual assaults at the time? She said, I was going to die with that information, saying that she wasn't going to talk about it. But now, since, she has the opportunity to testify, now she did bring it up to help the prosecution.
No, I think her testimony is doing a great job of showing the jury, hopefully they will hear it that way, that this person, Diddy, this was not just a problem between Diddy and Cassie, like their, super intense love affair that led them to be so committed to each other that they were doing all of these things that now maybe they regret. But like the story I think the defense is trying to tell, I think is damaged by Mia's testimony, because it shows a pattern of abuse. And I imagine we will continue to see that pattern broadened as the testimony goes on. So slowly, methodically, surely the prosecution is making their case.
Yes. She's been through so much on the stand. She was sobbing, yesterday afternoon, just about the trauma that she's faced and fearing for her life. So hopefully the jury will take that in and take it seriously.
All right, let us get to some blind items. Unfortunately, we won't veer too far away from that particular trial as we start today. According to the blind items, the only reason this former A-minus list musician / actor who has a higher on the list sibling continues to defend the disgraced producer is because he knows the truth about how that producer used him as a pawn for illegal behavior will eventually come out. Oh. The only reason this former A-minus list musician / actor who has a higher on the list sibling continues to defend the disgraced producer is because he knows the truth about how that producer used him as a pawn for illegal behavior will eventually come out.
Okay, so we're talking about Diddy, but who's this other person?
A former A-minus list musician / actor who has a higher on the list sibling.
The musician actor has a higher on the list sibling.
Correct.
Are they American?
Yes.
Okay.
American singer. Okay. Somebody who's like been connected with Diddy before.
Yes.
Okay.
Is the sibling a brother?
No.
Okay. A sister?
Yep.
Who is she also in the music industry?
Yep.
Okay. Is this Ray J?
Yep.
Okay.
According to the blind items, the only reason Ray J continues to be so outspoken and coming to the defense and defending everything that's going on with this Diddy trial is because he knows that eventually the truth is going to come out about how he was a pawn for illegal behavior that Diddy used. Now, we've obviously seen he was very close to Whitney Houston before her tragic passing. He was also very close to Wendy Williams when all the Wendy Williams stuff went down. And there's been belief in the blinds for quite some time that maybe Diddy was pulling the strings behind the scenes on all of that behavior.
I will say you are seeing names dropped into this trial, not, I think, to the level and degree that a lot of people who've been, like screwing around the blinds for years would hope. But there's still a lot of time left. Yeah. So, and a lot of witnesses to call.
Definitely.
So I have to feel like there's going to be at least one bombshell.
For sure. So there you go. In case you're wondering why when you type in Ray J right now, it's him defending Diddy. That might be tied to it.
Why would anybody in this moment?
Well,
because he knows he's next.
Well,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Is that still going to do you? Is that going to do you anything right now?
Gosh.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah.
let's move on and go far away from that trial.
Thank you.
Obviously, we know why this A-plus list actor couldn't be bothered to make it to his girlfriend's premiere. The real story is how handsy that girlfriend was with the director. It wouldn't be the first time the director broke up his happy home for a leading lady he's worked with, like he did with this former A-list actress in the Supernatural series.
Oh.
Obviously, we know why this A-plus list actor couldn't be bothered to make it to his girlfriend's premiere. The real story is how handsy that girlfriend and the director were. It wouldn't be the first time that this particular director broke up his happy home for a leading lady that he worked with, just like he did with the former A-list actress from a Supernatural series.
So, do we know for sure that they're boyfriend and girlfriend? Or this is just a rumor?
This is the rumor, the publicationship of it all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it involve a helicopter? Okay, so we are talking about Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas. Who's her director? And also, he didn't fulfill his end of the bargain. Like the publicationship is you go to the premiere, right?
As handsy as Tom was with Haley Atwell at their premiere, I'm a little surprised we're even still talking about Ana de Armas.
Okay, yeah.
But-
so it's Ballerina
Yes.
is the movie that she's in.
So let me fill it in with what you got so far. It's obvious to us why Tom Cruise couldn't be bothered to show up to Ana de Armas' premiere. Maybe because it's a publicationship. It's not real anyway. The real story, though, is how handsy Ana de Armas was with the director. It wouldn't be the first time this particular director broke up his happy home for a leading lady he was working with, just like he did with this former A-list actress in a Supernatural series.
So
I should say Supernatural
So
franchise.
we need the director.
We need the director.
You're probably
Yeah.
not going to get the director, so you should
Okay.
probably go after that former A-list actress from a Supernatural franchise.
It's not Zoe.
Nope.
TV series.
No.
Oh.
So like a superhero franchise?
No.
Oh.
Supernatural franchise.
Supernatural.
Oh.
Supernatural.
Like.
Is it like Hermione from
No.
Harry Potter?
It has it has traits, or it shares traits with the Twilight franchise in that there are vampires and werewolves, but it is not the franchise.
Dawn, this has got you written
I
all over
know.
it.
I don't know why I'm.
It's not Twilight.
Cryptids paging Dawn McClain.
No.
We've got a former A-list actress from a vampire.
Kristen Stewart.
Nope. It's not from the Twilight
Not
franchise.
from Twilight. Okay.
But it shares some of the same
Creatures?
vampires and werewolves.
Oh my God.
Why? Okay, Dawn, seriously. Because I can't think of any vampire thing. What do you got?
I mean, Blade.
Nope.
Uh,
Around the same
Wesley
time period,
Snipes.
though.
Is that
same
Wesley
time
Snipes?
period.
I think so, because wasn't
Yeah.
that early? Well, I guess I don't know. This is early 2000s. is
Early
when this started.
2000s.
Former A-list
Yeah.
actress.
Is this the one who was in the hospital, had a big bow in her hair? Kate.
Oh, Kate.
This is like
Yeah.
what's it called? It's
Not
not
Elizabeth
a great
Hurley,
series.
but Kate Beckinsale.
Beckinsale, and it's like I can't remember the name of the series.
It's not
sorry.
above Earth.
It's
Oh.
below
Under
decks.
It's Underworld.
Underworld.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's fill in the blind here, because and by the way, do you know who directed Underworld?
No.
The guy who ended up marrying Kate Beckinsale and divorced his wife for Kate Beckinsale, and then they ended up being married for 10 years, and
Yeah.
then just recently got divorced. Not
Oof.
recently. I don't remember when the divorce was finalized, like 5-6 years ago. Len Wiseman.
Okay.
So Len Wiseman is
Okay.
the director of Ballerina.
Okay.
And according to the blind items, let's fill it all in now that we got it. Tom Cruise wasn't at the premiere because, well, that relationship is fake anyway with Ana de Armas. The real story is how handsy Ana de Armas and Len Wiseman were. Wouldn't be the first time Len has broken up his happy home for a leading lady, just like he did with Kate Beckinsale in the Underworld series.
Is he in a happy home now?
He
the
is.
implication sounds like
Last we heard, he was engaged with a lovely young lady.
Also, I just go back to the fact that, like, if you're going to publicationship, you better be giving me some. I mean, look, he did a lot in terms of talking about her in the lead up to this film, but like, you couldn't at least give her a, hey, go see this movie.
Yeah, he's like
It's Tom
completely out.
Cruise.
Like, what happened? Like, this is the biggest part of where you need to be at the premiere, according to the contract.
Or something like a tweet.
Did he get mad? Like, was he like, oh, well, the public's on to me. I'm just not going to do this. Like,
No.
okay.
Or maybe he was a little more serious about it, doing some recruiting, and
Haley
she was
Atwell?
like,
she was like, no,
thank you.
I
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, he gave her the cans, and she was just like, no, I'm not putting my hands on
the
them.
cans.
Well, I don't think you get the cans until you seal the deal.
I will just say this isn't.
Depends on who you ask.
Well, it depends on how valuable those cans are.
Real valuable.
I will just say, in the defense of reality, and maybe not the blind item, this was just the Berlin premiere. So he could maybe show up to the London premiere or one of the other premieres. So you know how the premieres
Berlin
work.
premiere. He's like, I can't go to the Berlin premiere. I can only go to the London premiere.
Well, speaking of premieres and publicationships, it's quite amazing that this A-minus list Nepo baby has an easier time getting an A-plus lister to do a paparazzi stroll ahead of her upcoming film than she does with her own A-minus list musician partner.
Oh.
Do people still believe they're together? It's quite amazing that this A-minus list Nepo baby has an easier time getting the A-plus lister to do a paparazzi stroll ahead of her upcoming film over her own A-minus list musician partner. Do people still believe they're together? So we've got an A-minus list Nepo baby.
Oh, Dakota Johnson, Chris Martin.
Oh, and Chris Martin.
And of course, who did she just do a paparazzi stroll with last night? The A-plus lister.
Tom Cruise.
Brad Pitt.
The A-plus list. George Clooney.
Just say she might have had something to celebrate.
Glenn Powell.
No.
Celebrate.
It was her birthday.
Bob birthday.
The A-plus lister had something I'm sure she was celebrating that we didn't find out until this morning.
Taylor.
Taylor Swift.
Right. Taylor Swift.
It's quite amazing that Dakota Johnson actually has an easier time getting Taylor Swift to do a paparazzi stroll than she does with her own partner, Chris Martin.
Whoa.
But of course, ahead of her upcoming movie, that seems to be the case. Do people still believe Dakota Johnson and Chris Martin are together?
Well, he to be fair, he was picking people up on his Uber job.
The old lady.
And
telling them he was single.
I'm single.
Telling randos.
You don't know who that
about
lady
his relationship status.
It was
I really miss Gwyneth.
It was fun. It was Taylor and her brother Austin, and then Dakota and her brother, whoever that was. I don't remember his name. But they were out oot and a boot.
That's cute.
Taylor's favorite Italian spot.
Oh, that's right. I did. Okay, so I did see the story about her Italian spot because I looked it up. It was like, what was it called? Like Forte or some Italian word. And I thought, got to write that down because, I feel like you can trust Taylor's taste in restaurants.
Yeah, but can you trust your pocketbook to be able to pay for it?
Look, I think all restaurants.
Pocketbook is so old.
All restaurants. Thanks, Mom. All, nice restaurants are going to be expensive, but
yeah,
she went to a nice little place in West Palm with Travis.
Via Carota.
See, I knew it was something Italian.
There you go. West Village.
Italian.
Well, let's not go too far away from there because, speaking of which, it shouldn't be lost on the fact that same A-plus lister didn't do any type of help with a friend who had a new movie come out in the last month. Do we still believe they're together?
Okay, come on.
Like Lively.
Yeah, of course. Just basically shedding some light that she's done more for Dakota Johnson in the last month, but she had a premiere than she did for Blake Lively in her premiere.
I am here for this, and these are the kinds of blinds that in the olden days, when I was just a tiny little blind item baby, I would have said, oh, come on, people are not this petty. They are. And I have to believe for a hot second that Blake Lively, when she sees photos of Taylor and Dakota, is like, seriously?
Because Taylor just wasn't going out with anyone. She hid away with Travis Kelce for a long time. And so that was in my mind, maybe an excuse. She's just not doing anything with anyone. But now she's going out with second-rate Dakota Johnson.
Ooh, second-rate
I don't know
Johnson.
I've never seen her with Dakota Johnson before. Have you?
I think Dakota Johnson up here, Blake Lively down here.
For sure. In the world of Taylor Swift's friends.
I'm just thinking in terms of acting. But
second tier friend, I should say.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I mostly though just think that we know Blake is petty because she brought up Taylor's name in her text with Justin. So that says to me, she would then take it as a intentional slight by Taylor when she sees Taylor with like promoting another of her gal pals movies, and she didn't. Right?
Yeah.
Or I'm just petty.
Speaking of that dragon and that exciting news that she has to
Supposed
share.
to say, no, you are not petty at all.
No, we just passed it because we think you are.
Yep.
Okay, fine with that.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to say the quiet part.
What did you say about dragons?
The thing about, of course, that dragon of Blake Lively, Taylor Swift, and when I talked about her celebrating, we just found out earlier today, she bought back all the rights to all of her music.
Wow.
Will you tell us? Because like I'm not a Taylor. What do they call them? Swifties.
Swiftie.
I'm not the Swiftie that you are. Will you tell us what that means and why it's important?
Well, it's huge because she was doing the Taylor's version of all of her albums because you may remember the controversy around Scooter Braun and that whole situation where she didn't have the rights to her music. He did. And then it switched hands multiple times. The rights to her music was sold for reportedly $300 million to a company called Shamrock, I believe. That company recently, earlier this week, actually said that it's going to go up for sale and that Taylor could buy it back. But the reports are at that time, the Shamrock paid like $600 to $1 billion for it.
Ooh.
And at that point, everyone's like, well, Taylor's not going to pay that much for it. But it sounds like that was grossly misreported when it came out, and that the sum that Taylor paid was closer to that $300 million mark. So we don't have an exact number.
Okay.
All we know is Taylor now owns the rights to obviously all of her albums, all of her music, all of her concert films, everything Taylor Swift has created in this world, she now owns the rights to.
And really quickly, what did that have to do with like the album that everybody was hoping she was working on?
We were waiting for Rep TV. We were hoping for Rep TV. There was speculation that the AMAs maybe when that announcement would be made. She did reference this in a letter. And if you go to her website, you can read the full letter. She talked about the fact that Rep TV is actually only a quarter of the way re-recorded. So that was the one we were waiting for. She did talk about that's the album, of course, that was kind of the response to a lot of the issues with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian and all that sort of thing. So she said that she's tried to re-record it. She just kind of hits a stopping point because it was such a moment in time when she felt that music.
Right.
She did also say she has re-recorded Debut. The only two albums she hadn't re-recorded is Reputation, her her one prior to Torture Poets Department, and then her debut album, Taylor Swift. She has re-recorded Taylor Swift and will be releasing it at some point.
As a celebration.
As a celebration, no longer as a, hey, this is me trying to gain back my music. So
yeah,
it's
good for her.
Big day.
So now she has
Taylor.
She'll have two versions of everything.
The world. What one to you?
And most notably, if you wanted to use a Taylor Swift song, you have to ask her now. You can't just, buy back one of the versions of it and use it in some form of media that she doesn't have control over.
Good for her, and she's incredibly powerful and has the ability to do that. So many performers and musicians and artists don't. I hope that this sets some sort of precedent. I know that's probably wishful thinking, but you can imagine, I feel like every artist should just have more control over their own work.
And she references that in the letter. I would recommend taking the time. She talks about how much it makes her happy to hear artists come up to her and say, hey, by the way, I fought for the rights to my music before I started working with these people because of the way that you kind of laid this groundwork down.
That's awesome.
It's very, very cool.
Look, some hope on Blinded today.
Nice. I love it.
Let's dash it all in the rocks of blinds.
You got it. How about this one? Remember earlier this week when we told you that this A-list rapper reached out to his legal team? Well, now we know why, and it proves that lifestyle the money provides is actually more important to him than his kids. Remember earlier this week when we told you that this A-list rapper reached out to his legal team? Well, now we finally know why, and it proves that the lifestyle the money provides may indeed be more important to him than his kids' well-being.
This is Offset trying to get spousal support from Cardi B.
According to the blind items, earlier this week, we said, hey, maybe after that video of Cardi B partying on a yacht with her new boyfriend and doing pink cocaine or whatever they were doing.
By the way, I watched that video.
Yeah.
Could you be any more obvious?
No, you could not be. You could not be. He did show up the next day to OTAs, mini camps for football.
Did they say anything about it?
Oh, yeah. The coach came out and said, obviously, we
Okay.
need to make good decisions on and off the field.
Okay.
And he'll be getting a call from Roger Goodell, and he will be suspended.
But it was.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Did he say that he would be suspended? I mean, that's
I'm
the
saying he's
implication.
gonna be
Yeah.
suspended,
Because
but-
I was going to say the public words that around that were so like vague. I'm like, can't you just say like, hey guys, no drugs?
As ridiculous as the NFL is when it comes to some of the rulings and decisions they make around things, I'm having actual video of a player having drugs in their possession and handing it off to somebody else. That's going to get, he's going to get suspended.
Yeah.
We'll see. He's never played for him yet, but we'll see how that goes.
But you've seen the writing on the wall with other people who have less evidence against them.
100%.
Also, that pink cocaine is not a lie.
No.
It is really pink.
It's like bright pink.
Yeah. No, it looks like bubblegum pink,
Wow.
which
Here's how naive I
Not
was.
like Himalayan.
no,
Sea
it's
salt
not
pink?
like Himalayan pink salt pink.
That's what I've been
It's
imagining.
like Barbie pink.
Okay.
I saw that video at first, and I thought he was handing her fishing lures. I'm like, those look like those pink fishing lures you put out there. They're on a boat after all. I thought they were.
Yeah.
Those are very
Trying
pink.
to catch a
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from the Midwest.
Yes, we are. But according to the blind items, and again, we've now heard actually that he is trying to get more spousal support from Cardi B, and maybe that video might be part of his motivation. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just like, you have the ability to make tons of money. You know, I just don't know. I just have thoughts and feelings about spousal support when you're up at the level of celebrity where, you know,
Sure.
if you didn't give up your career to raise children for someone, I think that you don't need spousal support. And you have a means to make a lot of money. I don't know. I don't think that's too controversial, is it? I would be a weird judge.
What?
I would be a weird judge.
Why?
I'd be like, nah, you're not going to get it. I'm not just talking about men. I'm talking about men, women that have tons of money.
Oh yeah, no.
On either side.
I think if you're a grown ass person, go out and I mean, if there are some reasons you need it, then let's talk. But I think if you're gainfully employed and you were successful prior to getting married,
and during, it's not like his.
But
star
I also am one of those people. Like, if there's a law that says you can do this, I mean, I don't know. People are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, they are. See David Geffen and his
Yeah.
newest ex-husband.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, shame on you for thinking it's true love. I don't need to get a prenup.
Mm.
Get a prenup
Always.
and a postnup.
Speaking of former
And a nut
spouses,
nut.
let's go ahead and do this one quick. This foreign-born reality star / former spouse of a DIY star has a lot of money troubles. He has been hitting up the former A-list girlfriend he's got far too often, and that is causing friction. That relationship, like all of hers, isn't real, which is why they were so quick to silence the story. So we have got, first off, a foreign-born reality star / former spouse of a DIY star who has money troubles. He's been hitting up this former A-list girlfriend, who he currently is girlfriend and boyfriend with, far too often for money, which has caused friction. That relationship, like all of hers, isn't real, which is why they're so quick to try to silence the story.
Is this Tariq Al-Musa?
You're
Christina Hack?
you're very close.
Oh, Aunt Anstead? Okay. And Renee Zellweger?
There you go.
Okay.
Wait, so are they? Read that again.
They're dating.
Yeah, I knew that.
Well, according to the blind item,
But who's
Aunt
the ex?
Christina Al-Musa.
Oh, got it.
So the ex is the DIY star,
Got
Christina
it.
Al-Musa, or whatever last name she's going to take here in the next
Yep.
week or two. She's had 5 of them in the
Yeah.
last month.
she is a
She
serial
loves to be married.
marriageist.
Well, according to the blind items, though, Aunt Anstead is had a lot of money troubles, and he's been hitting up Renee Zellweger a little too much. That's caused friction in the relationship. That story broke a couple of days ago. Instantly, her team is like, no. It's all good. That's all fake. It's all good. And that came from people.
Oh.
So it feels like maybe somebody's trying to cover up real quickly that relationship is all good, when in reality, it's not real.
Yeah.
Because
In Hollywood, nothing is real.
And everyone smokes.
and we know Renee Zellweger's been around a publicationship or two.
Yeah, and it
Jim
didn't end
Carrey?
well.
Hello?
Well, also,
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Hello.
what's the musician's name?
A lot of
Oh,
The one
Kenny
that she-
Chesney.
Kenny Chesney.
Yeah,
who
remember
actually
she-
Oh,
married.
this is
Her reason for
That's-
divorce on that one was
fraud.
fraud. Yeah. What does that mean?
Well, I think
How do you fraud?
It can imply one thing, but I mean,
I'm just saying she's had a
She's
had a go. Although, can I just tell you that the best performance of Judy Garland ever was done by Renee Zellweger.
so good. You're
that
right.
movie. And you can watch it on your own time when you're not listening to us on the radio on myTalk or downloading us wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe us, leave reviews for us. And don't forget, we have our own YouTube channel where you can watch all of this deliciousness unfold on camera. It's called
Blinded by the Item.
Get us to 5,000. Bye.
Bye.
Blinded by the item.